when we write our program in any language, in any programming languages, it might be a case when our logic might fail. Okay, and there is no syntactical problem or there is no syntax error, but there is a logical issue in our program, and because of which our program is failing and getting interrupted. Okay, say for example, if I write a statement as in print, okay, print x. Now what is x? It's a variable, but have we defined it over here? We have not defined it over here, okay, in this particular program. So if I run this program, okay, let me run this. So we should get an error, okay? We are getting an error. What is the error? What is the exception? Name error. It says name X is not defined. Now over here currently right now you are able to understand, okay, it's giving you an error below this X, okay, you will understand that. But let's consider, okay, this way. I'll say print 10 divided by 0. Okay, over here everything is correct. Okay, everything is correct, right? 10 divided by 0. But if we divide any number by 0, what should be the answer? Actually, infinity is the answer. But programming language will give you an exception on an error. So what is the error? Zero division error. You're dividing a number, okay? It could be a floating number or it could be a simple integer number. You're dividing a number by 0. So this is the exception, zero division error. So if you want to handle these kind of exception, we should not get this kind of red indication. Okay, because say for example we are passing two different variables and user can enter anything, say for example x comma y equals 10 comma 0. I'm getting input, I'm taking this input from user and I'll say, okay, x divided by y. Okay, x divided by y, and let's run this. So I'm getting this division by 0. So this input data can be anything, this parameterized data can be anything. It could be 1 also, okay. Later if user enters 1, that's fine. But say for example if user enters 0, then this is giving me an exception. Say for example in your okay, open the calculator. And divide two characters. So divide a number 10, okay, divided by 0 and click on equals. So you get a message can't divide by 0. So your application is not getting crash. Okay, your application is not getting crash. Instead it is giving me a message, user defined message. It like you cannot divide by 0. This is perfectly fine for us. Okay, so what if I write, okay, what I say, try, okay, try with this code. I'm saying try with this code, and if this code gives an exception, then okay, I'll say except, okay, and then print, okay, print possible error in the division. Okay, possible error in the division. Now if I run this code, so see, possible error in the division. This is getting printed. This is a user defined message. Okay, you are not sure that the person is dividing by 0. It could be any other issue as well. Okay, anything in this particular division, there could be any kind of exception. But then if that kind of exception is occurring, you are saying, okay, possible error in the division. So go and look back to your parameters and then again try it out. Okay, so we have to say try, and whatever code might be giving an exception or an error, that you have to keep inside the try block. This is nothing but a block. An indentation means a block that print is part of try. So try colon and then the code. If that particular code gives you an exception or error, then it will be cached over here. In case of Java, we have try catch block. In case of Python, we have try and except block. Okay, this one. And then we also have else part. Okay, else part, say for example, print uh, division is successful, something like this. And I'll say okay, division by 1. Okay, now this code is not going to give you an exception. So what if I run this? So 10.0 is coming up and then it says division is successful. So if you are not getting an exception, or you can say if your try block is getting executed successfully, then else part will get executed. So exception will, this block will only get executed only if and only if this code is giving you an exception. If it is not giving you exception, it will go inside the else block. Okay. So, so this is else block. Okay. Successful. What is spelling mistake? Successfully. Fine. Then there is one more block that is called as finally. Okay. Finally. So finally. Sorry. So finally works even if exception, okay, occurs or not. Okay, even if your exception occurs or not, finally block is going to get executed. So whether you are getting an exception or you are not getting an exception, then else part will get executed. But then finally block is going to get executed whether exception occurs or not. Okay, so let's run this. So right now division is successfully, okay, successful, actually it should be successful. Okay, successful. And then even if exception occurs or not. So right now exception didn't occur, so finally is printed. What if exception occurs? Okay, then let's see. Still possible error in division, exception occurred, okay. But then our finally block also got executed. Okay, so finally is like if you want to write a code like closing, if you are opening a database, okay, in this try block, and if there's some issue in opening or getting connected to the database, your username password is wrong or the server is down, okay, then exception will occur, and then you have to close the DB connection. So you can write it over here in finally block data closing of calling the method of close in finally block. So whether you are able to make connection to database or not, you have to close the connection also, because you have opened or you have tried to open the connection, you have to close it over here. So even though connection to the database happens or not, you have to close it. So that can be part of your finally block. Okay, so this is try, accept, else, and finally. These four things you can understand. Okay. Even you can divide your exceptions. Okay, you can have multiple except blocks. Like you can have, say for example, right now name error or type error was coming up. So you can have that over here as a name error. Okay, so name error was not. Let me remove this and I'll say it over here. Okay, print Z, okay, print Z, and I'll say try with this code, okay, accept, and I'll say accept print exception occurred, okay, something like this. Okay, let's run this. So exception occurred, but this would be like name error. If this does not, if we don't write this, okay, if we don't write this, then the name error, okay, name error. So you can write down accept name error. So this is a proper error message you are writing over here, okay. Like you can write multiple exceptions, okay, except just. So if you are having multiple lines of code in try block, okay, and you are not sure which particular line will give you an exception. Okay, and if a particular line gives an exception, you are dividing those exceptions in different forms, as in except name error, then you can have except type error. Okay, type error, and then you can say, okay, print this is a type error. Type error, something like this. This is a name error. Name error, something like this. So if you are having multiple lines of code over here and a particular line gives you an exception, okay, and what exception it is throwing, exact match, it will try to find it over here. If it is matching with name error, this will get executed. If that line, whatever that line throws an exception, if it is matching with type error, then this line will get executed. So you can divide or create multiple exceptions also this way. Okay, that is not an issue. You can directly say exception. All the exceptions are covered as part of this exception. So if you have multiple lines of code and whichever exception is thrown, if you write exception, this is the parent class. All the exceptions will be caught or catch over here. Okay, so this is how you can mention the class over here. So if you run this, you will say name error occurred. Okay, I hope this is clear, guys. Understood this part?